and we are in Psych Perspectives, giofvcks, and I'm doing a live stream to discuss what I posted earlier today in regards to jobs, employers, workplaces seeming to not care about their employees, and their staff and their workers and the laborers, the people who make this world go round. You, our communities, all of us, okay? The people that pay the taxes, the people that make the products, that give the labor and the services, okay? So, again, this is a late live, and so I understand that everyone may not be able to tune in when it's super late like this, and I do apologize. Thank you to everybody that does tune in, that does join. Feel free to share your links, articles, your perspectives, your opinions, research, information, etc. In the comments. I will have information in the description box below once I edit this and upload it up. And as always, highly, strongly encouraged and suggested and recommended. Do your own research, Google, read books, look at articles, listen to music, whatever you need to do some critical research and background. It's so important that you do it. I recommend it. But let's talk about it. Your job don't care about you. That's the harsh reality. Oh, let me turn this light off. Hold on, y'all. That's the harsh reality that a lot of people are finding out for themselves, is that the job don't care about you. A lot of times with these jobs, here we are in the midst of a global pandemic. Okay, information in the description box below. We have all these various variants of COVID-19. Okay, we've got flu-rona, where it's literally the flu and corona virus together in combination. Then we have IHU, a variant found out of France. Okay, and then of course what's been wrecking havoc in the USA and across the world globally is Omicron. But within the USA in particular, you see the lack of federal, state, and local government really seeming to care about the citizens, the people, the community, anybody here. And then we're seeing our jobs take the same approach as the federal and state and local government. They don't care about their employees either. Nobody seems to care at all. Thank you all for joining in. Okay, I think somebody just said something. Okay, Shannon, what's going on? Good evening. Thank you for joining in. Jobs can be replaced. Lives cannot. Exactly. Say it again. People can't be replaced. Yet these jobs are out here like, well, you guys can come into work even if you're sick. If you're coughing, you're hacking, you've got diarrhea, you got constipation, you don't feel well, you can barely breathe, you can barely come on in. Your shift has to be covered. Or if you're privileged enough to have PTO, paid time off, you might get lucky to have a week, maybe 2 weeks, or sometimes maybe 3 to 5 days. You might get 40 hours of PTO. You might get 80 hours of PTO. Keep in mind there's 365 days in a year. There's 52 weeks in a year, and you're getting 2 weeks or less. You're getting 10 days out of the 365 days. That's all you're getting. Yeah, that's how it is. And that's if you're privileged to even have it. Because overwhelmingly, as we are seeing, a lot of people don't have paid time off. So if they need to miss days at work because they're sick, because they don't feel good, because they gotta, do some errands for family or for their children or whatever it may be, they don't get paid. They go without getting paid. And that is detrimental to a lot of people in the USA and across the world. Let me read. Let me see here. Kimberly Freeman, hello, good evening. What's going on, y'all? What's going on, Shannon? What's good? I'm just doing this live stream tonight, kicking it with everybody. Once this is edited, again, links will be in the description box once it's edited. And please feel free to share your links, your resources, your information, your perspective as well. But, they'll just have you up there sick. You don't feel good. You're dying. You done lost family members. You done lost friends. You done lost colleagues, people you work with. People are dying left and right, and they just expect you to keep chugging along. Keep coming in. You got your children. You're worried about your day-to-day life. Meanwhile, these jobs, they're not providing people with masks. They're not providing people with living wages so you can actually take care of yourself and your family and stay afloat and actually be able to buy things and pay bills, keep a roof over your freaking head. Rent is 3 times. They want people to make 3 times the rent nowadays, and rent is $1,000 and up a month in many cases. Yet, the federal government has the federal minimum wage set at $7.25 an hour since 2009, and it's 2022. Yet you're supposed to be paying $1,000 or more a month for rent on $7.25 an hour federally. There's a problem. Let me see. Kimberly, I got sick as a dog and I got fired. I have been working at the job for 6 months. I never called in, and one time I did, I got fired. That's horrible. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. And I hope you were able to apply for unemployment. And that's another thing, unemployment benefits, the way they done changed the stipulations. But if you're able to get on there, please look into that, because that's wrong. Here it is, you called in because you were sick. You needed to take care of yourself, and then also you didn't want to get other people sick. Here you are doing the right thing, and that's how the job treats you. And I understand. And that's the sad part about what Kimberly just expressed. That's a common occurrence with a lot of the jobs in this country, in the USA, and just thinking about what's happening around the world in other countries globally. Mercy, this is an ongoing issue. And once again, employers not caring about their employees. Meanwhile, they want to sit up here and expect the employees to be loyal to the fault, to their death. You're going to work to death. We're not going to pay you anything. We're going to pay you pennies on the dollar. But you're going to sacrifice your life every day for me, because I'm your employer. I'm your boss. I'm your job. I'm your slave owner. Okay? Because the way I look at these job sites, these job places, it's essentially a plantation. Okay? We're going to the plantation. Right? A lot of us are physically going to plantations, and then a lot of us are working from home remotely at a plantation. And then it's 40 hours. That's supposed to be the labor rights, 40 hours, 8 hours a day. But in many cases, you have people that work well over 40 hours a week. You have people that work well over 8 hours a day. So, we get a really horrible end of the stick. We get the end of the stick. I mean, it's ridiculous how people are being treated here. I do want to read some of these articles, just some bits and pieces to give more insight to what I'm talking about, and also to give some data and facts about what's happening. Mercy, I am doing a video. Okay? Anyways, for example, why has COVID-19 been especially harmful for working women? All right? After decades of struggle, the 19th Amendment to the Constitution gave women in the USA, the United States, the right to vote. This hard-won fight foretold the increasing presence of women not only in the voting booth, but also in the workplace. By the beginning of this year, which this article was in 2020, October 2020, last year. Oh God, well, a little over a year ago. Now it's 2022. So women's labor force participation stood at 58%, nearly a third-fold increase since 1920. So 100 years ago, it's nearly a threefold. So most women work, okay? Obviously, you can look around and see for your own self. Most women work, okay? Without the increasing participation of women in the workforce, household income growth of the middle class would have remained largely stagnant since the late 1970s, which is true because the idea that one person, you know, which the cis-het normative patriarchal setup was essentially the man was supposed to be the head of the household and was going to work and have a family wage so he could provide for his family. That was the, you know, cis-het normative nuclear family, you know, patriarchal setup. However, obviously, that was not working for many people, and then in many cases didn't even exist for many people. But that's a whole nother video. Let's get to why this is such a hard problem, COVID-19 and the global pandemic on women in the workforce. COVID-19 is hard on women because the U.S. economy is hard on women. And the virus excels at taking existing tensions and ratcheting them up. Millions of women were already supporting themselves and their families on meager wages, low wages, poverty wages, and stagnant wages, okay? And this was before the coronavirus pandemic, okay? Okay, and then when the mitigation lockdowns sent unemployment rates skyrocketing, and mind you, unemployment rates are still high. A lot of people are resigning and leaving jobs because they don't want to risk their lives and they're tired of working 40 plus hours a week. They're tired of working every day, living check to check, struggling to make ends meet, bringing the virus back to their families, to their communities, to their friends, to themselves. People are tired. Okay? Anyways, so, you know, and working mothers were already shouldering the majority of family caregiving responsibilities in the face of child care system that is wholly inadequate for a society in which most parents work outside of the home. And this is very true. Women on average, they're working at home, or they're working and they're earning a wage, and then they're also coming home and doing a second and third shift because they also have to come home and most of the time take care of the family, the children, cook, clean, nurture, emotional support after working a job. And they tend to have most of that responsibility because as much as men want to talk about it, for the most part, men are we are still not holding our part, okay, when it comes to taking care of the family and nurturing the children and being a provider and doing that. We're not. It is what it is. It's not an equal give and take there, okay? Sexism, toxic masculinity, misogyny, these things exist. They are real, okay? And there's a lot of unfairness, and I'm just going to throw that out there. But anyways, problems facing women in the labor market have never been hidden, but they have been inconvenient to address because they are entrenched in the basic operations of the economy and society. The low wages associated with pink-collar occupations have long contributed to the feminization of poverty. And what they basically, all this really means is jobs that are seen as, that's what women do, or that's feminine, that's what the women do, tend to have the lowest wages, little to no benefits, no room for upward mobility, no real protection either, like, because you don't tend to have a union, you don't tend to have benefits, you don't tend to have good pay and, you know, hourly wages or salaries, okay? For case in point, to give you an example, we're just now seeing nurses are starting more and more to get paid better wages, where they're making, a travel nurse, for example, could be making $3,000 to $4,000 a week, where previously that was not the case. And especially when it was mostly women. Now that men are becoming nurses and entering the field, we're seeing those wages starting and salaries starting to level out and balance. However, they're risking their lives every single day in the healthcare field, even before Corona. And now with Corona, it's even more of a risk. All right. Again, women are disproportionately represented in low wages. Just to give a breakdown, as of 2018 in the American Community Survey before COVID-19, nearly half of all working women, 46% or 28 million, worked in jobs paying low wages with median earnings of only $10.93 per hour. How are you supposed to provide for yourself on $10.93 per hour? Okay? Fabulous. Hey, what's going on? Fabulous Miss Tasha, work at home job, stay home. I agree. If you can get a work from home job, y'all, try to. If your job allows you to work from home, please do. Consider it. I wish I could work from home. I used to work from home. Yeah. But then the new job that I have, which is crazy because I literally get up every day, Monday through Friday, and I get dressed and I drive into work and I get to work and I sit behind a computer and I sit behind a phone and I'm there for 8 hours. I could do that from home, but my current place of employment isn't allowing that, so it's something to think about, AB Legend, I'm unemployed now and I'm jumping on the first job I get. I don't want to go back to the streets. I have one felony already. Hey, AB, sending you positive energy, and I hope everything works out well for you in the job market. I hope you get a job, one that lets you work from home or gives you opportunities to be safe and be paid a living wage, right? Hope everything works out for you. Sending you positive energy. Tokyo, yay, I didn't miss. No, we just got started 17 minutes ago. Thanks for tuning in. What's up? Yes, if you can work from home, try to work from home though. Fabulous Miss Tasha is right, because we risking our lives every single day, point blank, period. But now it's even more aware that we are risking our lives. Because, my goodness, they don't care. Okay? They don't care if you are immune compromised, you got health conditions, you got pre-existing health conditions. They don't care if you got children. They don't care if you got, you're taking care of your parents or your grandparents or other family members. They don't give a damn. Come to work and we are going to pay you poverty pay. And if you die, who cares? We're going to send a replacement in. It's ridiculous. They don't care about us. AB, no problem. Again, sending the best of wishes, love, support, positive energy. Hope everything works out in your favor. Fabulous. Yes. And again, information to what I'm talking about will be in the description box below. And if you would like to share your information and resources and links and articles, please do so. So $10.93 an hour was the average wage of working women as of 2018, basically 4 years ago. We're in 2022. And again, the share of workers earning low wages is higher among Black women at 54% and Hispanic or Latino women at 64% than among white women at 40%, reflecting the structural racism that has limited options in education, housing, and employment for people of color. Now you already a person of color, and you're a woman, and you're working class, working poor, low income. it's like you get structural racism, you got the sexism and misogyny, and then you got the classism all interconnected to say to you over and over and over again. And then mind you, you're again, it's the lower income, it's the working class, it's the working poor, it's the women, it's the people of color, it's everybody that's doing all of the work while being paid less. Not getting an opportunity to take care of yourself, to get out of poverty, to get out of debt, not having an opportunity to be able to buy things that you like sometimes, being able to pay your bills on time, being able to have a savings, being able to have stability, being able to have security. You don't get to have any of the American dream, because that's just it. It's a freaking nightmare. It was always BS, essentially. You know, it was always a lie. And a lot of us, unfortunately, we were sold the lie and we bought into it. And a lot of people are recognizing more and more every day that it was BS. You know, unfortunately. Fabulous Miss Tasha, we are truly replaceable bots in the system. I'm telling you, they don't care. You die today, they will have your job up on Indeed within an hour or two of being notified that you passed away. You'd be surprised. They do not care. They don't care. They view, like you said, they view us as replaceable bots. You know, our lives are meaningless to them. Okay? And then what's crazy is you always hear people screaming, all lives matter. All lives matter. All lives matter. Meanwhile, if all lives matter, then why are you paying poverty wages? If all lives matter, then why are you making people work and be put into potential risk and death for poverty wages? You know, it's ridiculous. God's body, what's up? What's up? Blessings to you. Bless up. Thank you. Good evening. Welcome to the live. AB. Legend, it's sad how in this country we get worked a lot with less pay. The government needs to offer another stimulus check as a booster for real. That's the booster too. You're right. AB, you are absolutely right. We need another stimulus check. Honestly, we need universal basic income. The stimulus check should be coming every month. In my opinion, it should be at least $2,000 a month. $2,000 a month per adult. $1,000 a month per child or person under 18. You feel me? That's how I look at it. Because it don't make sense. It's like you said, here it is. The wages are low and stagnant. You're worked to death. You don't have any benefits. You don't have any paid time off. Or if you do, and if you are privileged, you might have a few days to 2 weeks out of the entire year. Okay, it's 52 weeks in a year, okay? It's ridiculous. And that's if you're privileged to even have PTO. Because a lot of people don't. Most people don't. You'd be surprised. It's ridiculous out here. The government has been serving up crumbs to the people. It is a shame. We need the free health insurance. What's going on, Jerron? Exactly. I agree. We need universal health care. And the crazy thing about it, we are all paying taxes. You're paying property taxes. You're paying sales taxes. You're paying gas tax. There's even a death tax. Like when people die, there's a tax to that, right? You know, if you buy cigarettes, there's a cigarette tax. There's taxes on food. There's state taxes. There's federal taxes. You know, you've got your municipalities, your cities, your townships, your villages. You're being taxed. But in the meantime, what the hell do you have to show for it? And again, I encourage everybody, every time you get paid, look at your pay stubs. If you get it in the mail, you get a physical pay stub, or you can go online and you look at it on a portal. Look at your pay stubs and look at how much money is being deducted from your check every time you get paid. Look how much money is going to taxes. You know, your city tax, your state tax, the federal government, what's going to Social Security, what's going to Medicaid. Like, look at all of that. And then all the other deductions, because some people have to pay for different things out of their deductions at their work, at their place of work, whether that be for health insurance, policy plans, life insurance, whatever. Look how much is being reduced, taken away from your check every time you get paid. Look at that. Just look at it. Hey, what's going on, Love JJ 1814? What's going on? Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. I was watching a clip a few days ago, and Elon was saying in the near future, most jobs will be replaced by AI, and it will eventually lead to universal income. Again, his opinion. Fabulous Miss Tasha, tolls, highway tax. You're right, always getting taxed. And I do, you know, my thing is this. I agree. First of all, a lot of our jobs are already being replaced, and I do agree. We need universal basic income. A lot of our jobs can easily be done with a robot, artificial intelligence, as you said with Elon Musk's opinion, AI, artificial intelligence, robots, machines, computers. We need to be working smart, not hard. And then two, to reduce pollution, to reduce violence, to do a lot of things, we need to make sure that we make sure that people have the resources they need to live and to support themselves and to thrive. This having people living in poverty and confusion, death, hell, and destruction 24/7, 365 is why we're in the mess that we're in. You know, it's ridiculous, in my opinion. Mercy, stop. AB, Dollar General, Family Dollar stores have gone from $1.09 to $1. You ain't lying. I went up and let me tell. So this Monday, you know, while I was sick, I had a Graves flare up, and those 3 days were intense. But Monday, I went up to Dollar General. I got some dog food for Mercy. I'm trying to think. I got a few items, and it came to almost $30. And I'm like, again, you notice everything is marked up. You know, it's a good 20, 30, in some cases 40% markups on everyday goods and services. Everything has been increased, but our wages and salaries. And remember what they told us. Oh, well, if y'all wages go up, everything's gonna go up. Meanwhile, everything's been going up, and our wages have been remaining low and stagnant. And if we're really gonna be honest, everyday working people wages have been low and stagnant since the late 60s, early 70s. We haven't seen wage increase to be on par with the cost of living, inflation, and worker productivity since the frickin' 70s. We're talking 52 years ago. If we were staying on track with the cost of living, inflation, and worker productivity since the 1970s, minimum wage should be $24 an hour in 2022. It should be $24 an hour. Information will be in the description box below. Now just think, if minimum wage is $24 an hour, how a lot of people would be able to live and thrive and take care of themselves, get out of debt, have stability, have a healthier life, be able to do more for themselves and their families. Just think of the possibilities. Okay? When you love JJ, when you look at it all, it's wild how the system is set up for people to be stuck in a dead-end job, working to feed the beast. The so-called elites, and this is global. I agree. Because that's just it. It's like, I just feel like I agree with you, for real. Because it's like, I'm realizing I literally bought into the American dream, you know? I was sold the lie, and I bought into the lie, you know? And everything y'all are saying is spot on, because it's like, you know, a lot of us thought having a 9 to 5 and, you know, having your, you know, if you went to school, you got your degree, or you went to a trade school, or you got your certification, or if you worked really hard and what you're good at, you work real hard, you're going to have a return on investment. You're going to have some good things come to you. You're going to make good money. You're going to have a good life. You're going to have that house with the white picket fence and the dog and the children and the family. And then you grow up and you realize that's a bunch of malarkey. That's a bunch of bullshit. That is not that is not how things work here. And you know, it's just lie after lie. And then again, we're working and we're working and we're working, and we're just making the corporations and the wealthy and the 1% richer. You know, and the politicians are bought and sold. The corporations and the wealthy and the rich have their lobbyists coming in and buying and selling the politicians left and right, and you know, laws and guidelines that are supposed to protect you and your family and your community are being ripped to shreds because the corporations that want you to work your ass off to death and forever. You staying at home or you being able to take care of yourself and your family, that's cutting into their bottom line. They got to make money so they can go and fly on jets and go to Mars with Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. You know, it's like, meanwhile, we're stuck here dying, you know, in a polluted planet that's basically on its way to extinction because of the corruption. It's ridiculous. And again, the jobs don't care. They don't care about your well, because if they cared about you, if they cared about you, number one, they wouldn't be paying you poverty pay. Red flag number one. If they cared about you, they would be paying you a living wage. They would want to make sure that you're being properly compensated if they cared about you. If they cared about you, they wouldn't want you, you know, trying to figure out if you're going to be able to pay your utility bills or your rent. They wouldn't want you living check to check, you know, if they cared about you, you know, just saying. Okay, AB, do you think capitalism play a major role in what's going on? That's a very good question, and thank you for asking. I personally, in my humble opinion, yes, I think capitalism is one of the many factors and plays a major role in what's going on currently and what's been going on, really. Because again, to me, we're in the late stage of capitalism where you're basically at the end. And now we're seeing how after centuries of capitalism and then at least, you know, centuries of exploiting the worker and exploiting the laborer and underpaying everybody and constantly finding loopholes to not care about community, you know, because again, with capitalism, we have this very much individualistic mindset. You know, I got to get mine before you got to get yours. It's me, myself, and I. Every man, every woman, every person for themselves attitude, which, as we are all seeing with this ongoing pandemic, you can't have that mindset and think that you're going to get out of this. You know, but yes, I personally, in my humble opinion, think that capitalism plays a major role in what's going on right now and the struggling and suffering that many people, not just in the USA, but around the world, globally, are facing. I do think that. Food prices, 1 8-pound bag of chicken wings was $29 at the supermarket 2 days ago. Holy shit. Listen, that's ridiculous. And again, if somebody is making $7.25 an hour, because that's the federal minimum wage, and it is $29 for an 8-pound bag of frozen chicken wings, that person has to work a little over has to work at least 4 hours. 4 hours to afford an 8-pound bag of chicken. I just want to throw that out there. and this is what's crazy. I'm actually eating some chicken, and that's just crazy to me. You know, we need living wages. The federal minimum wage should be $24 an hour, and those that have more skills, certifications, degrees, or work harder should definitely be compensated, you know, and they should be paid more, but nobody should be living in poverty. And again, the federal minimum wage should be $24 an hour. The federal minimum wage should be on track with the cost of living, inflation, and worker productivity. Okay? That's how it should be. And if that's going to be how it should be, then guess what? You should probably, at the bare minimum, be getting a raise at least twice a year. Because every year things go up. You notice how every year everything goes up, yet none of our wages and salaries go up. There's a problem here. You know, a lot of these jobs are still offering the salaries and wages of 10 fucking years ago. Yep, I used the F word. 10 fucking years ago. They're still sitting up here advertising salaries and wages of 2012, 2011, 2010. I graduated high school in 2010. It'll be 12 years in June since I left high school. I've been working for 13 years come July of this year. And again, that was in 2009, and the federal minimum wage was also $7.25 in 2009. That was the last time there was an increase on the federal minimum wage. There is a problem. It's ridiculous. Yeah, Love JJ, you're right regarding minimum wage. Unfortunately, I don't see it increasing anytime soon. The system is fighting against itself pretty much. I know. You're right. They don't care. But get this, they don't want any of us to have a decent quality living wage. They don't want us to have, you know, decent pay, but then they want to complain when we're not buying shit, right? Oh, you're not buying houses. You're not starting families. You're not buying cars. You're not shopping enough. How in the hell are we supposed to do any of this if we're living check to check? Oh, and by the way, we also are in medical debt, credit card debt, student loan debt. But you thought we were going to buy houses and start families and be consumers on pennies? What is this shit? It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it's sad. It's absolutely sad how it is all set up. It's wrong, and it shouldn't be like this. God's body, the modern day Great Depression. Okay, say it again. Because they keep trying to, for example, remember when Biden was also the vice president? You know what? Biden has been in office for, like I said, 5 decades, 50 years. And, you know, he was a senator for a lot of recessions. And then he was the vice president for a recession. And now he's a president in another recession. I'm just saying. And don't get me wrong. The Republicans are no better. Okay, the Democrats, the Republicans, they both seem to not give a single fuck about any of us and our well-beings, in my opinion. Okay. So, of course, capitalism is the nucleus of the corruption and greed, etc. I agree. God's body, 6 steakums, $4. Oh my goodness, that's wow. When they say stock market is doing well, that has nothing to do with at least 90% of us. So that doesn't put any extra money in our pocket. Thank you. Because like you said, overwhelmingly, the majority of everyday people do not have an investment in stocks, aren't going to make any money when stocks go up, because even if you do have it, you don't have enough shares. You have to have it. You know, it's just so many things. Like, again, just because when Wall Street is doing well, that has nothing to do with us on Main Street. Say it again, Love JJ. Say it again. No mercy. You're not getting any. Mercy's sitting here trying to get some chicken too. You know, already ate. Oh my goodness. Fabulous Miss Tasha, the government could easily print out enough money for everyone, but they use it for evil to control the masses. Keep the rich rich and the poor poor. And that's just it. Money in itself is fake. The only reason why it has value is because we put value on it. Case in point, y'all don't even know what you can't tangibly see cryptocurrency. You can't go to the ATM and pull out cryptocurrency. It's all digital. Okay? And if you notice, a lot of times now when we're dealing with money, it's also digital. Because a lot of times, what are you doing? You're Cash Apping, you're Venmo, you're PayPaling, you're ATMing, you're swiping a card. You're not physically, for the most part, overwhelmingly, most people are not physically touching actual cash. They're not touching actual, coins. They're not doing any of that. Everything is digital. So in itself, they really could, like you said, they could just be like, well, here's $2,000 a month for everybody until we get out of this. You know what? And by the way, we're going to forgive medical debt. We're going to forgive credit card debt. We're going to forgive student loans, federal and private, because again, we don't need people rolling around in debt and then also complaining about them not being able to pay for shit while also not paying them shit. It's like you said, capitalism is in my opinion, capitalism is imploding on itself. It's falling apart. We're in the late stage of capitalism. In my opinion. Information will be in the description box below. I totally agree. Did you know that Congress gets an automatic pay? Yes! You have senators making $174,000 a year. Your senators, your Congress folks. And then get this. Keep in mind, for many of these elected officials, that's not their only source of income. Okay? They're not just the senator. They're not just a congressperson. A lot of them have endorsements and book deals. A lot of them are working on other, you'd be surprised. They have multiple sources of income on top of the fact that they will vote for them to get living wages and vote for them to have the best health care. And who's paying for all of that? Who's paying for it? You are. I am. We all are, through our taxes, through our tax dollars. But in the meantime, you don't get to have universal health insurance. You don't have the best health insurance coverage. You don't even have a living wage. You don't even have quality drinking water. I'm in Flint. Look at Benton Harbor. Look at New Jersey. Look around this country. Look around this world. But you get to work for us and you get to give us all your money because we're taxing you at least 20 to 25% of your income. You feel me? Meanwhile, the wealthy, the corporations, your jobs, your employers, they're either not paying taxes or they're paying very little. In fact, you probably have a higher percentage of your money. You're probably paying a higher percentage in taxes than your job. I can almost bet on it. Yeah, you're not making nearly the same amount of money as your job, right? But you're the reason why your job is making money. Crazy, right? It's nuts. Yep. I agree capitalism will be the death of this country along with the other bullshit of this world. I mean, in my opinion, capitalism has destroyed the world. It's a global meltdown. Again, you can't keep putting money, profit over the environment, over the planet, over human beings, over animals, over life. Can't keep doing that. And again, if everybody is dead, who's going to be working? Again, it's imploding on itself. Everybody dead, everybody sick, everybody got pre-existing health conditions. Because again, you can still catch COVID and survive it and then have long haul, long lasting health conditions that will impair you mentally, physically for the rest of your life. So, you know, and again, these jobs don't care. They don't care if you live or die. They really don't care, and they've been showing their asses. I mean, they don't give a flying you know what. They do not care. And I also want to say this too while we're in this. We need to discuss what frontline workers are, because there's this idea that, number one, well, who is a frontliner? A frontliner, in my eyes, in my opinion, from my perspective, a frontliner is anybody that has a public-facing job. And what I mean by public-facing job, if you have to leave your house and actually physically go somewhere and work and be out in the public, out in the midst of COVID, out in the midst of the pandemic, that is a frontline worker. So you could be working at the gas station, you could be a nurse, you could be a doctor, and guess what? You could be a social worker, you could be a teacher, you could be at the gas station again, you could be at the grocery store, you could be at the fast food place, you could be a server. It's a front-facing, public-facing, in the midst, in the open, in the public-facing job. That's frontline. Okay? And a lot of us in the frontline work and the work out here are underpaid and overworked. We have little to no benefits, and then the benefits that we supposedly have, if you're privileged to even have those. Because again, it's a privilege to even have benefits. But in the same breath, while it is a privilege, and I do recognize my privileges and I do not take them for granted, I am grateful and thankful, but I also am not stupid. And I recognize that I deserve better, you deserve better, we deserve better. Point blank, period. You are giving your time, your energy, your skills, sacrificing your life. You deserve so much more than what a lot of these jobs are giving us. And again, they want to talk about us being essential workers and frontline workers. They want to talk about people being heroes. How the hell are we heroes while you sitting over here paying us zeros? What the hell going on up in here? You a hero, but you don't even have health insurance. And then the health insurance you have, you got these out of whack deductibles, $2,000, $3,000. There are people paying $7,000, $8,000 for deductibles. So basically, what health insurance do you have? What do you really have here? It's insane. I had a COVID last year. The doctor said I could have got it through my eyes because I did not wear goggles or a face shield. I'm so sorry. And I mean, we 2 years in, y'all. I'm so sorry, for real. We 2 years in. What's going on, Queen of the South? Good evening. Thanks for tuning in. What's going on? What is going on? I appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Again, but sending you love, and I do want to make sure I say this too. Please, if you can consider it, please look at getting yourself some N95 mask, KN94 mask, or KN95 mask. Information will be in the description box below. But those are the 3 masks that are highly suggested and recommended, especially with the new variant of Omicron and the IHU and now flu Rona. I mean, again, they don't give a damn. And then that's another thing. As much as we are working and paying taxes, the federal government should be sending everybody free masks. We shouldn't even have to pay for the new mask. We should all be getting N95 masks, KN95, KN94 masks. COVID tests should be sent to our houses every week. You should be getting like 7 masks a week, 7, maybe 2 to 4 tests a week. All of that should just be sent to your house. You are paying taxes. You make this country work. You make this world go round. And that's for every single person, every worker, every laborer, everybody out here, not just in the USA, but around the world globally. We are the reason why this world functions. It makes no sense that we have to beg for basics. Oh, that's what's up. About to have some Dominican food. Hey, that's what's up. I know that's about to be tasty. Oh, and filling. Yes. Thank you for tuning in. Fabulous. Yes, those regular masks. Yes, y'all. Fabulous. Miss Tasha is correct. The surgical mask and the cloth mask that we were wearing in 2020, 2021 for the most part, they don't work. They're not going to protect you enough, efficiently, correctly from Omicron. It's just not. Okay? And yes, wash your hands. Do you wash your hands? Sanitize. If you can get vaccinated and boosted, at least consider it. But if you don't want to and you can't, wear your mask. Try to stay at home. Try to social distance. And like you said, wash your hands constantly throughout the day. And ultimately, if you can stay home, stay home. If you can quarantine and be away from everybody and social distance, if you can do it as much as you can, because this shit, it's out of control. And we're at that point again where, yes, God's body, thank you. Keep your nails clipped. And I mean that. Keep them clipped, because a lot of people be like, no, you got bacteria, germs, fungus, whatever the hell you picking up and touching and all that be under your nails. And a lot of people, I get it's about fashion and beauty and all of that, but we're in a pandemic, and I'm going to be honest, and I know a lot of people don't want to hear, but a lot of us need to consider cutting our facial hair as well, or at least keeping it trimmed. Don't have big ass beards, because again, this is where the bacteria and the germs and the fungus and shit is just chilling. So either keep it trimmed or cut it completely off. Oh, yes. That damn gas pump, them doorknobs. And then that's another thing I think about when you at the grocery store, and you know how people be going in the grocery store and they pick up something, look at it, oh, I don't want this, and put it back down. So think about how many people done did that got COVID and any other illness or, virus. Keep you, drink a lot of water. Try to get your fruits and veggies. Drink a lot of water. Get you some tea, vitamin C, zinc, elderberry, turmeric, vitamin D. And yes, Queen of South, and mostly eat your greens. I'm going to do a little shopping this weekend. And I'm going to stock up on some earth foods. Like you said, greens, vibrant color foods, I'm going to do that because, yeah. But if you can get you some hand sanitizer, keep a bottle of hand sanitizer in your car or in your purse or in your bag. Keep that with you, because again, sometimes you don't have access to water and soap, but at least have some hand sanitizer. Keep some wet wipes, some disinfectant wipes. Okay? For real, it's crazy out here. Yes, take your multivitamins. Yes, take your vitamins. And love JJ, but we should be doing this already. A virus should not be your mother. Preach, 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 and preach, and preach, and preach. The fact that COVID-19 showed me, people were like, we have to wash our hands? And I'm thinking, wait a minute. So y'all was going to the bathroom, taking the number one, taking the number two, not washing our hands, and then coming out. No wonder we got E. coli and everything else going on. Human beings are disgusting. You know what I mean? And then watching how people wash their hands. First of all, Well, and that's because, and I'm gonna be honest, my grandmother still is a registered nurse. So I grew up with, when we washed, I washed like how my granny washed, which was to the damn elbow. Okay, like we would be rinse, repeat, rinse, and then we done. So that really was at least 30 to 60 seconds between doing all of that. And then also getting between, scrubbing your actual fingernails, getting your elbows, like getting your wrists, all of that. And that's just how I grew. So I recognized everybody didn't have that upbringing. And again, I also feel like she was also very, pretty much still is, a neat freak. And that's kind of how I get my little OCD-ish ways at times. But I sit back and I'm like, no, y'all. You really have to, yeah. Oh, God's body, will you preach? Oh, yeah, great point. Be very careful on who you smoke behind. In fact, hell, I spoke by myself like now. Queen of the South. What about smoking? I'm picking now about who I smoke when yes, because I'm gonna be honest. And I know a lot of us just be like, no. In my opinion, everybody needs to smoke their own stuff. Nah, because I know back in the day we used to be like, oh, we gonna match. Nowadays, I'm gonna bring a joint, you gonna bring a joint. You gonna smoke your joint, I'm gonna smoke my joint. I'm gonna be honest, and I gotta hold myself to this as well because it's the truth. We not sharing that anymore because I don't know where your mouth has been, you don't know where my mouth has been. And personally, as many of you already know, but I'm fully vaccinated and boosted. But guess what? I can still contract COVID and potentially transmit that to somebody else and be asymptomatic and not even know. Which is why I also think we should be getting tested weekly. Being honest. But again, when it comes to smoking, if you can go to a dispensary, go to a dispensary, or if you can go to a trusted provider, go to a trusted provider, because again, people are lacing weed with shit. And then if you're gonna smoke it, I recommend not sharing what you're smoking. You don't need everybody lips on what you're smoking. Whether that's a cigarette, a vape, a joint, a blunt. Honestly, if you got a pipe or a little bowl, because people be like, "Oh, let me get a hit." Get your own. Okay, because again, you don't know where people have been. Okay, and again, saliva, etc. You don't know where people have been. It's deep out here. That's hilarious. My grandmother washed to the elbow also when I was younger. Bring back memories. Yes, that's why I'm like, I just sit back and I'm like, wait, so y'all wasn't ever really washing hands? And then again, the way people wash them, like I see people literally barely even get soap, run their hand under the water, and they done. You ain't even washed nothing. Ain't no lathering, ain't no, like what's... So that's why I'd be like, yeah. And then a lot of people don't wash. They just literally go to the bathroom, number one or number two or both, and then get right back up. You ain't lying. The whole pandemic, everybody was drinking liquor big time. Like, don't get me wrong, I still drink. But I don't drink nearly as much as I was. Because it's like, I have Graves' disease and a slew of other gastrointestinal health issues. So it's like, I like getting lit, but I don't like being sick and having all of the horrible side effects. But you ain't lying. You go in there... all the Patron gone, all the Hennessy gone, all the Ciroc gone, all the Jameson gone. You just be like, but you understand at the same time, I look and I'm like, people are coping with what they can have access to. And that's the sad part. You feel me? It's sad. Yep, God's body. Some people are simply dirty and nasty as hell. These jobs need to stop being cheap and test every day. You ain't lying, or every week. Yes, that's what. Look, at my job currently, there's no weekly tests. Some of us wear masks, others don't. Some of us are vaccinated, others aren't. And get this, we can't, there's no proper ventilation in the building because we can't open up any of the windows. And then on our side of the office, we don't have heat. We're just now getting the heat fixed, and it's been out for over 2 months. It's crazy, right? Make sure you are clean before getting in your bed at night, especially your feet. We forget. We walk all over our house before bed. And this is, okay, preach! This is why people used to make fun of me. But you should have house shoes, and then you should have outdoor shoes. The shoes that you're out and about with should not be walking around your house in. Okay? You should have, and then I always grew up with, you have your inside clothes, then you have your outdoor clothes. Like, these are my inside clothes. My inside clothes, I'm chilling. I don't wear the clothes that I come from outside and then sit on my bed. Like, but that's how I grew up. And I'm starting to realize, like, everybody did not grow up how I grew up. And a lot of these things that you might think is a common knowledge or common information, common sense, it's not. So we got to share the knowledge, share the resources, share the information. Queen of the South, Gio, you think it's true, the narcissist on the down low. I will make a video on that, Queen of the South, because I've had my experiences. And I'm not going to say that all DL people are narcissistic or have our narcissistic personality disorder, but there are a lot of people that are narcissistic or high on the narcissistic scale who are indeed living double and quadruple lives. It is what it is. It's definitely, when you think about it, even though this is a slightly off topic, then I will definitely get back and make a video that's going to go more in detail about it. But if you think about it, in order for you to lie about your sexuality and then live like all of these different lives to cover up your sexuality, you have to have some narcissism about you, because I mean, you're literally manipulating everybody to think that you're one sexuality or you're attracted to this. And don't get me wrong, I get it. Homophobia, transphobia, biphobia. There's a lot of that. And that does contribute to why people are on the down low. Granted, that isn't to excuse lying to people and leading people on and hurting people and being deceitful. But I will definitely make a video on that. But again, I want to also give some more information. And again, links to job situations, the bad working cultures and environments, the low wages, the lack of benefits, all of that will be in the description box below. But another issue that people keep forgetting too as we talk about the jobs, a lot of people who work are also parents, as in they have children. And there's a lack of workers, right? But there's also a lack of childcare. There's also a lot of COVID illnesses, and the economy reopening all at once was not a good idea. Okay, businesses will need, this is off of the Philadelphia Inquirer. Businesses will need to pay their workers more and improve productivity so they can continue to deliver their products and services using fewer workers. This includes offering hybrid and remote work. Again, nobody's interested in living check to check. And nobody should have to. Okay. How is it that economy is still down almost 6? And get this, last month, 4.5 million people resigned from their jobs. 4.5 million people resigned from their jobs in December of 2021. Okay, keep that in mind. All right, there's a lack of childcare for the parents, because the schools also are either shutting down or going remote because they're basically a petri dish for COVID and various other viruses. I mean, children are also pretty much walking petri dish, okay? And you can't be sending them into the schools, so that's a childcare option that's gone. And then the daycare centers are also being hit with COVID. So you can't send them there either. And then also daycares cost a arm, a leg, and a torso. They're extremely expensive, especially if you want quality childcare. They're extremely expensive. It's really mind-boggling how expensive childcare is. And then yet the federal minimum wage is $7.25 an hour, yet you could be paying $500 a week or more for childcare. Yeah. Who can afford that? You're not even making $500. You're barely making $500 every 2 weeks on $7.25 an hour. So you see why people aren't going back to these shitty ass jobs. What options do you really have here? It's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Also, many aging baby boomers who have left the job market during the pandemic, they're not returning. So they have permanently, retired or left the job market. Another thing, I'm going to say this, and I know this is going to come off ageist and discriminatory, and I apologize if that's how you take it and receive it. And it can be. It probably is ageist. I'm not going to sit up here and say that what I'm about to say isn't. But I've learned over, the course of my lifetime working, if your boss or the organization structure is ran by baby boomers, run, okay? Because they don't want you to have the option to work from home. They don't want to pay you living wages. They don't offer good PTO. It's like they just want you to be a machine and work with little to no opportunities, little to no resources, little to no happiness, little to no joy, little to no peace. It's insane. All right, let me see. I'm done. I'm looking at these comments. Y'all going in the comments. What's going on, y'all? What's going on, Siren 90, aka 9? What's good? Welcome to the live. Hey! Angels. Oh my goodness. Angels up and up 7. What's going on? Soul Power Forever. What is going on? How are you? Thank you for joining tonight. Oh my gosh. Angel. Oh my goodness. I remember you. Goodness. 2011 when you've been in the YouTube game for over a decade. Major props, love, support, peace, and respect to you. Thank you. Natalie loves all. How are you? What's going on? Thank you for joining tonight, y'all. And Queen of the South, yes, everything you said, I'm gonna have a video on that, and we'll do like another live after that video to discuss that, right? Let's do that. If y'all want to, you feel me? Listen, take me back to 2006 when Sierra Like You was like, listen, okay? Take me back when you could go to the skating rink with no mask on, didn't have to worry about, is there going to be a school? Is there going to be a mass shooting at the skating rink? Is there a deadly virus that's about to take you out? You didn't have to worry about that in 2006. I'm not saying that we didn't have problems, because we had problems, but it sure as hell wasn't like this. Oh my goodness. Hey, what's going on? Thank y'all for tuning in. Oh my goodness, we are already over an hour. Okay. Look, after 1999, it was a wrap. Listen. When the Rugrats decided that they was going to Paris, everything went to hell. I think that was in 98 though, right? I don't know. Shit. You're right. After 99, literally after 99, gas prices score up. The so-called, the 9/11 attacks, the war on Iraq, or just crazy mess. Just, we had, and mind you, we had the bird flu and the mad cow disease, and H1N1, and just every time you turn around, recession after recession, the foreclosure. And that's another thing that we got to talk about this year, is the foreclosure crisis that may be taking place this year. Okay, especially if they don't figure out what's going on to help people keep their homes. Because again, people are getting eviction notices because the eviction moratorium was lifted. They done took away the unemployment benefits for the most part. It's a lot of things. Oh my God, my bad. Rugrats in Paris was 2000. My bad. Thank you for the correction, Love JJ. It's crazy. In God's body, peer pressure and the internet has played a big role. I agree. And that's another. Going back to what Tokyo G just said on that, because this is something that's cray-cray. People be on social media living complete, fake, phony, facetious lives. Again, we in the midst of a pandemic, and people still sitting up here trying to look like they balling and rich and got it going on and just living their best life. And I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm not trying to be a pessimistic, but it's like, damn, you balling and all it is, but then in the same breath, a lot of us know this is fake. Some of you are literally just lying and doing whatever it takes for validation on social media, trying to get likes, trying to get followers. And again, I can't hate you for that, because again, this is how society has pretty much programmed us. But it's just wild to witness and watch. It's cray-cray. Hey, Simon Stewart, 2003, what's going on? Good evening. Thanks for tuning in. Well, good night. Shoot, it's 10 o'clock. Thanks for tuning in tonight. It feels like people are pressured to get homes when they can't afford to get them. Exactly. Listen, low key, all of these low rates that they've been pushing, they're about to go up on rates. Not to mention that a lot of people had extra income, because they didn't have to pay for their student loans, or because they got a stimulus check, or whatever reason. And yet we haven't got a stimulus check since, what was that, March or April of 2021? It's been almost a year. Been almost a year since we got a stimulus check. And then, remember, we were supposed to be getting $2,000 monthly payments retroactive to March of 2020, and that never happened. And then we were supposed to get $2,000, because we had elected Biden and Harris. And then also we went and elected the 2 Georgia senators, and they were like, yeah, we're going to give you $2,000. And then that ended up being $1,400. And then, like I said, a few months later, you got $600. And then, mind you, everybody didn't even get that. There's still people that never got a stimulus check. It's cray-cray. It is absolutely crazy out here. Okay? Oh my goodness. The international sphere has never repaired economic collapse, the vote against school and finance protection practices happened, no child left behind, inflation to hell. I can't keep going. I can keep going. You better go on, Siren. Keep it real. Siren 99, what's going on? You speak in facts. Again, when you look at what's going on, everything the Siren just listed right there, piss poor policy decisions made by elected officials over and over and over again. That's why I say, I'm upset and angry, but then at the same time, I can't blame people for how the way some of us behave and act, because again, we were literally set up for this. They literally designed and orchestrated this whole situation, this whole failure. It's crazy. There are only two directions: fascism or a complete restructuring of the country. But that won't happen because the entire system is based in supremacy, and racism isn't real. LOL. Hey, will you go in? Will you go in? Speaking facts, dropping knowledge, dropping information. Let's go. Oh, yes. And then the child tax credit. Let's talk about that. I support it. Okay. I support it. Again, if it would, in my opinion, it should be $2,000 per adult every month, and then $1,000 per child under the age of 18. That's how I view it. That's how it should be, in my opinion. Because, again, we always want to talk about, people being pro-life and all lives mattering. Well, if that's the case, you should want children to have their needs met, to have food and shelter, love and support and resources. And if giving a tax credit of each month to that child, to that family helps, I don't mind paying for that as a taxpayer. And at the same time, I don't have any children. But I still want to make sure that other people's children, because at the end of the day, I see us as a collective. And I don't want those kids going hungry or living in a dysfunctional environment, and then they grow up and shoot and kill my ass because I'm getting some gas at night. You'd be surprised. But it's a revolving door, and it's reciprocal. It's recycling. It goes in a circle. It's happening and happening and happening. So if my tax dollars can go to make sure that they have love, support, and resources, then I would like my tax dollars to go to that so I don't have to get robbed and killed later on. That's just how I view it. But I support it. Meanwhile, the federal government, that's supposed to end this month. The child tax credit, supposed to end this month. And again, that's taking away $300 from families in the USA who have children. That's not going to be good. They did the student loan deferment for federal public loans to May of 2022. And again, I'm trying to figure out, when May comes, are we magically going to be is everyone going to magically be making six figures a year? Is everyone magically going to be free of COVID, the entire world? Because, they just arbitrarily pick these deadline dates, and it's what is happening in May that they know that we don't know? Where did you come up with this? They just come up with shit, and then it's just, oh my goodness, it's wild. But my point is, and then too, if we haven't been paying student loans on federal loans for 2 years, what is it going to hurt to just erase all of it, since we weren't paying it and it didn't matter, it didn't break or bank you guys then? So we're literally watching how the government is just playing in our faces at this point, in my opinion. Siren, thank you, because really, they want you to have all these kids so they can have more laborers, so they can have more people out here working, feeding the death cult of capitalism. And that's my opinion. I'm not here to, tell you how to think, But that's how I think. And again, always research and investigate and look up things for yourself. But in my opinion, that's a death cult. It is a death cult, in my opinion. You know, work till you die, work till you bone. And then think about that. I'm not interested in working 40 and 50 years of my life to then turn around and retire just to be on a fixed income and also potentially impoverished. I don't really get the joy. How like, what am I, how, like, really, like, it's not right. Yeah, you still have interest, and that's another thing what people don't understand. You might be in deferment, but interest is still accruing. Interest is still accruing, and a lot of people don't understand that, you know. And that's why even if you can pay like $50 to $100 a month or $25, whatever you can give to it, still do it, because that interest is accruing. And then again, keep in mind, people who had private student loans, their loans never went into deferment. They never stop. You know, I have people that I know in my life that are paying $900 a month to their student loans. This isn't for a mortgage, this isn't for a house, this isn't for rent, this is to their student loans. And they've been doing that for over 10 years. And guess what? They owe more than what they borrowed because of the interest rate. And it's a private loan. So it's ridiculous. And remember, you know, you go to college, for example, those of us that went to college, whether you graduated or didn't, you took out a student loan, what have you. You went to college, right? Those of us that did. You rack up all this debt only to end up working somewhere that doesn't even pay you what you owe. So like in my situation, I owe $48,000, a little over it now. And I've been paying on my loan since May of 2014. Damn, it'll be 8 years since I started paying on my student loans in May of this year. Holy shit. Time flies by, man. I mean, hell, 10 years ago, come May, it'll be 10 years since I graduated with my first college degrees, my associate's degrees in 2012. But time flies by. Like, it flies. It flies, it flies. But, you rack up all this debt. I owe $48,000, a little over, and I make $40,000 before taxes. After taxes, I make $31,500. Losing about $8,500 a year. I'm making $31,000 take home, but I owe $48,000, a little over $48,000. Again, I still have to pay bills. You know, I still have utilities. If you own a house, property taxes. If you're renting, you know, rent every month. You know, home insurance, renter insurance. You still have bills and responsibilities. So it's like you sacrifice all this for this useless, well, I feel like it's a useless degree in capitalistic measurements. It's useful in the sense that I'm a social scientist. You know, this is why I do these types of videos and I talk about various commentary, and I'm always trying to bring research articles, facts, datas, information, because that's what I do. Like my master's is in social sciences, okay? And it's like, but in the meantime, ain't making no money. But in the same, like, I recognize that it's still a privilege. I still have privileges. It's still a privilege to be able to have a degree, because again, it does make getting jobs easier, and you do get paid over minimum wage, but that's just it. Minimum wage shouldn't be $7.25. Minimum wage should be $24 an hour. That's what people don't understand. You shouldn't be being paid pennies on the dollar. You shouldn't be living in poverty. This is not how things should be. And we need to stop looking down on people's skills and looking down on people's jobs. You know, the ignorant mess that New York mayor said, which I'm going to do a separate video on. And I mean, that's classes and it's bullshit. You know, people who work in fast food, restaurants, janitors, retail, they'd have some of the most difficult, hardest, demanding, dangerous jobs in the world. And they are providing so much to the world. And they deserve to be paid way better. See, I had the privilege of being a waiter. 2011. My first job, I was working at a daycare center. 2009. I was a janitor. 2014. I've had various jobs. I worked in retail. GameStop. You know, I've had various jobs, you know. So that's why I sit back and I don't sit up here and disrespect people because of their job title or their skill set. You don't look down on people, and there's no such thing as unskilled labor. Everybody is skillful and tactful. Everybody matters. Everybody is valuable. And again, they use all of these terms to divide and conquer and to belittle and put people down to further justify their reasoning behind why that group shouldn't be paid a living wage. That group shouldn't receive, healthcare benefits, housing, food, shelter, etc. So I want to make sure I say that, but I'm gonna have another video where I discuss that because it's ridiculous. Don't do that. Don't look down on people and sit up here and be like that, because again, everybody is playing significant roles in our lives. Everybody matters. Everybody is interconnected, whether we want to agree with it or not. It's becoming more and more apparent that you need everyone as much as people want to sit up and think that they don't. Because again, in my opinion, we're not getting out of COVID until we come together in some form or fashion. Come together now. Come together now. I love Michael Jackson's version of Come Together Now. But that is not the original. But anyways, this is 87 minutes, almost 90 minutes. Oh my goodness. Hour and a half. So I am going to end this. Of course, when I do lives, I pretty much kind of do well off topic sometimes, but I do try to maintain what we're talking about and then include everyone as much as possible. I want to give a thank you to everybody that tuned in tonight, that leaves comments, that provides video suggestions, that shares information and resources. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and consider joining the channel. Become a member of the channel, right? Let's do that too, right? Anyways, be safe. If you can get tested at least once a week, please consider it. If you can get vaccinated and boosted, I recommend it, and at least consider it. If you can wear your mask, please try to get the KN94 or the KN95 or the N95 mask. Those are the masks that they recommend, okay? Social distance, wash your hands, drink your water, get your vitamins, do what you got to do, or that's something that you're comfortable doing to protect you and your family, your friends, and your community, okay? Because we basically are on our own. Okay, so we really have to look out for each other at this point, because obviously the government, the employers, they don't care. They're showing it in our face that they don't care. They've been doing it. They've been doing it for centuries. This is the sad part is this is nothing new, but it's just obviously in our face more, more, and more. And information will be in the description box below once this is edited and everything. And y'all be safe. Thank you again for tuning in. I appreciate it. Hope you have a safe weekend. And I am